Gervonta Davis explodes on Lamont Roach Jr., accusing him of chasing a payday instead of stepping up for the rematch.
How many rematches have you fought?
0.
What do you have to do to create enough separation where this don't happen again?
Whew, it's a good question. It's gonna be based on my training camp. I have to push myself a little harder. If that didn't get me the win, and I have room. I definitely have room. I'm not gonna lie, I have room.
You believe you fought the best Gervonta, or do you think he got some more gears?
100% for a fact. I think he might have some more gears, but I fought the best Gervonta that night. I don't want people to get it misconstrued or whatever the case may be. He's a hell of a fighter. Hell of an IQ, great punching power, good speed, and a really good boxing ability. A lot of people underrate that.
Gervonta Davis didn't hold back as he fired a direct message to Lamont Roach Jr., adding fuel to the anticipation building around their rematch. The frustration was evident in Davis's post, and while the rematch is reportedly set for August 16th in Las Vegas, the delay in making it official has sparked questions about what's truly going on behind the scenes. Davis seems to believe Roach is stalling over financial demands, possibly angling for a higher purse after their first fight ended in a surprising draw.
You know, since the word has been floating around, the rematch is happening for sure. Just keep an eye out for August. There's a date floating around that might very well be that date. I can assure you guys that it's coming this summer for sure.
My man, you just made my day saying that, man. And I'm telling you, I beg to differ with regard to what took place. So let me just say you're the champ.
Thank you.
I'll leave it at that.
Back in March, Davis and Roach squared off at the Barclays Center in New York in what many expected to be another routine title defense for the unbeaten WBA lightweight champion. With a record of 30-0 and 28 knockouts before the bout, Davis was widely seen as the heavy favorite. But what unfolded shocked much of the boxing world. Roach, who was counted out by most analysts before the bell even rang, didn't just show up. He matched Davis blow for 12 rounds, earning a majority draw. Two judges scored it 114 to 114, while one narrowly edged the fight for Davis with a 115 to 113 tally.
Lamont Roach throwing his hands fast as hell. He's in the gym preparing. I think the rematch with Roach versus Gervonta can actually be more exciting than the first one. In my opinion, I've said this many times, the actual fight itself wasn't that crazy. The crazy thing is what you've never seen before, the knee. As far as a boxing match, it was, if you look at the copy box, they didn't throw a lot of punches. It wasn't like, it wasn't really a great fight. But as far as the fight itself, this second one can't, because I think Tank is coming for blood. He's not going to pull his punches at all. I don't think he really did the first time, but I'm not sure how well he prepared or how mentally focused he was. I think you're going to get the very best Tank in a rematch, and you may just get an even better Lamont Roach, since Lamont Roach don't have to speculate if he's good enough.
That fight might have had a very different outcome if a controversial moment in the 9th round had been ruled differently. During that round, Davis dropped to a knee after being hit with a jab by Roach. Referee Steve Willis did not count it as a knockdown, a move that drew heavy criticism after the fight. Davis later claimed he was reacting to grease from his hair dripping into his eyes, which impaired his vision and caused him to kneel. Despite the explanation, many observers, including fans and fighters, believed it should have been counted, which could have tipped the fight in Roach's favor on the scorecards.
Tank did that, so I know the got in his eye, but they should have counted it. They would have counted it, it would have went to Lamont Roach. What I didn't like about Tank, he was gassing up Lamont Roach way too much, and he was already talking about like retiring.
He seemed a little distracted, didn't he, in the fight?
That wasn't the same Gervonta Davis we're really used to seeing.
It just lets you know how corrupt like these governing bodies are, bro. If that dude took a knee, not only did he take a knee, he's like, hold on real quick. Let me get this out of my eye. How is that not a point? Like,
you know, funny thing, bro, that's why I cut my braids off. I had braids, and I had the same thing. I went through the same when I fought Andre. That was burning my eyes, so I cut that off.
Roach's performance silenced many doubters and earned him new respect, including from UFC commentator Joe Rogan, who admitted he hadn't followed Roach's career before, but was thoroughly impressed. The fight brought Roach into the spotlight and raised questions about Davis's sharpness and preparation that night. Frank Martin, one of Davis's recent opponents, believes the difference in performance wasn't just about Roach stepping up, but also Davis underestimating him. Martin, who suffered a brutal knockout loss to Davis in 2024, noted that Tank was far more focused and aggressive during their bout than he appeared to be against Roach. He believes Davis treated the Roach fight too casually, assuming it would be an easy win.
Don't think because of what I did, y'all think y'all can just go in there and think y'all can have the same night, you know what I'm saying, or do the same thing. He still will go upside your head and crack you, and you know what I'm saying, you might end up on the floor. Everybody not built the same, and that's what people getting messed up. He did a whole lot of things that was good in that fight, a whole lot, and I'm telling you right now, if he wasn't as good of a fighter as he was, that would have been, you know what I'm saying? I would have steamrolled him. Don't get that misconstrued. He's still the guy he is. It's just he ran into a guy that's on the same level.
Shakur Stevenson, the current WBC lightweight champion and someone who has shared sparring sessions with Roach in the past, offered another interesting perspective. Stevenson wasn't surprised by Roach's resilience or skill, noting that many underestimated just how tough and experienced Roach really is. According to him, Roach will walk into the rematch with even more confidence now that he knows he can go the distance with Davis. Stevenson also hinted that Roach wasn't fazed by Davis's power, something that could dramatically shift the psychology of the rematch. Stevenson made it clear, Roach is no stepping stone. If anything, he believes the challenger has a real shot at flipping the narrative in the second meeting.
What does the rematch look like between Lamont and Gervonta, you think?
I like Lamont in the rematch.
I think you were one of the few that kind of picked Lamont to begin with. Why was that?
I sparred with Lamont. I knew that he was a good fighter. He helped me get ready for the Oscar Valdez fight. And I knew his style, with Tank style, what he was going to be able to bring to the table. I knew it. So.
Did you really win 20 rounds?
I swear to God, on my daughter's life, I won that much money.
How different does a rematch look in your opinion, Shakur? What adjustments do you think we see from both?
Huh?
What adjustments do we see from both in a rematch?
I think I can't tell you game plans. I could be fighting these guys, so I'm gonna keep my secrets to myself. But truthfully, they both good fighters.
Do you think it's a lot different rematch, or do you think it'll be close again?
It's gonna be a hell of a fight.
How did you see Tank in that fight? A lot of people are saying maybe he's just mentally not there. What did you see?
Nah, he was the same Tank. I don't believe that. I don't got no thought in my brain that makes me think that he wasn't the person he been all of these other fights. I think he was the same person. All this stuff that he going through stuff. I mean, everybody go through stuff. So he's the same fighter. He's going to be the same fighter throughout his career. So.
Still, not everyone is betting on Roach improving. Terence Crawford weighed in with a different take. The former undisputed champion believes Roach already gave the performance of his life in their first encounter and doubts he can elevate his game any further. Crawford expects a sharper and more aggressive Davis in the rematch, particularly when it comes to output. In his view, Davis needs to abandon the strategy of throwing single or double shots and start overwhelming Roach with volume and pressure. He acknowledged that Roach might still be a stylistic problem for Davis, but ultimately feels the champion has a higher ceiling and more room for adjustment.
The draw, we all know that the knee and the knockdown. How did you score the fight?
I still had Roach winning, probably like 1 or 2 rounds.
By 1 or 2 rounds.
It was a close fight because Tank, I don't know, I think Tank just underestimated him. You know what I mean? And he was just looking for him to be himself and get a knockout. You know, right. I always said Tank is losing until he's not losing.
Right.
And all his fights, when you watch him fight against Leo Santa Cruz, against Rolly, you know what I mean? Even right. You know, Ryan was doing good the first couple of rounds.
So you think he relies on the power too much?
I think he do. You know, he's losing until he's not losing. Now, he's smart. He'll walk you into some, you know, but I just think Roach was, you know, shit, he was like, man, I ain't going for none of that.
Let's go. Yeah. So how do you think the rematch plays out?
I think you're gonna get a better Tank, but at the same time, I think Roach done.
With all the speculation about the rematch, there's also talk of Davis exploring other avenues. One of the most unexpected rumors circulating is a potential catchweight bout against YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul. It shows how Davis continues to think outside the traditional boxing landscape. The idea might appeal to him both financially and promotionally, especially if tensions with Roach's team continue to delay the rematch.
If you go my honest opinion, I feel like me and Lamont Roach, stylistically, is the hottest fight in the weight division. Yeah. Lamont Roach stood right there with Gervonta, the hardest puncher in the division, right? So put him up against me, I'm not going nowhere.
Y'all really gonna box, man.
We gonna fight. I feel like stylistically, that's one of the best matchups in the division for sure.
It's gonna be a lot of rolling in that fight.
You know, I'm an argumentative motherfucker, right?
It's gonna be high pace.
When I have my belief is my belief. Leave me the fuck alone. I'm gonna go there. When it comes to Shakur and Tank, a lot of people have mentioned that fight. A lot of people say when I'm arguing with them, going back and forth, they're like, "Oh, Shakur is ducking." I'm like, I just don't believe that. I don't. Obviously, you're closer to that situation.
Oh yeah, yep.
You think Shakur's ducking?
Man, ain't nobody scared of nobody. Ain't nobody scared of nobody. It's all about the bread at the end of the day. In the perfect world, if I can have it, how I want to have it, thank God Lamont Roach made a name for 135 division because we needed somebody.
Okay.
Let's be real. So now we got a new person. Thank God. So now we got Lamont Roach. If I can have it my way, Shakur and Tank, y'all go ahead and fight. Y'all go ahead and do that. Y'all go ahead and do that. Let me fight Lamont.
I like that.
Y'all don't rematch just yet. Cause y'all still gonna have to rematch. Y'all still can rematch.
Yeah.
However it go between me, Lamont, and Shakur and Tank.
Yeah.
However it go, y'all still can rematch.
Meanwhile, Frank Martin isn't done with either fighter. Although he took a brutal loss to Davis, he's expressed interest in facing Roach. He sees Roach's post-fight celebration as overblown, calling it a moral victory rather than an actual one. Martin believes Roach's strong performance was partially due to Davis not being fully locked in, something he doesn't expect to happen again in the rematch. Martin suggested that Davis fights with more urgency against punchers, and might not have viewed Roach as a serious threat until it was too late.
With them having, like, I feel like the relationship that they got, or they had, you know, as far as coming up together and kind of knowing the same people, working with the same people, it kind of was more of the fight was more of like I feel like, so Roach came out and fought his best fight that he could possibly fight, right? Against Tank. He came out with his A game, boom. And I feel like Tank came in that fight, not underestimating Roach, but more like we got history. I know what he liked, both of them basically, but Roach is gonna automatically have more of a little spark because he tried to get that spot. And Tank probably just like, you know, I know you. You know, I'm gonna do what I want to do to you. Or I'm gonna do what I've done to you. Because I know they fought prior. The fights might have been close or whatever, but I feel like Tank fought that fight not like fully like trying to get off. I don't feel like, you know, like he fought it more relaxed and chill instead of, you know, really trying to get him up out of there. I think that he thought the fight may have been easier than what it was. And you know, Roach did his thing. He took advantage of that. And shit, the fight came to a draw. But I think the rematch, honestly, is going to be a good fight still. But I think Tank may get him up out of there this fight. And even with the knockdown and all that stuff too. I know you probably was going to ask me about that. It was a close-ass fight. I feel like the draw was...
The back and forth on social media between Davis and Roach hasn't helped ease the uncertainty. While Davis insists the plan is still the plan, fans are beginning to wonder whether that plan is on track at all. The rematch hasn't been officially announced yet, despite both fighters seemingly agreeing on terms. Roach's side appears to be holding out for a better financial offer, something Davis publicly criticized. That social media jab from Davis highlighted his irritation and underscored how tense the negotiations have become.
I think the hardest puncher I ever faced. No. And I ain't shitting on him or nothing like that. He can punch. But Jonathan Oquendo, he's from Puerto Rico. Bro, he got bricks in his hands, bro. I lie to you not. He punch hard. I ain't gonna lie. He a hard hitter.
In the boxing world, public pressure often plays a major role in pushing deals over the finish line. The controversy of the first fight, combined with rising fan interest, might be the spark needed to get the rematch across the line. But it's clear that both camps are aware of the stakes. For Roach, this is a second chance to take the title many thought he earned the first time. For Davis, it's about regaining control of the narrative and reminding everyone why he's been one of the most feared knockout artists of the last decade.
I already signed. My first contract is signed for an immediate rematch in the case of a draw or if I win. So I'm already contractually signed to a rematch. It's on him. I hope we can get it done because I want to show the world again that that wasn't a fluke.
If the rematch does take place as expected in August, it will likely be under a much brighter spotlight. Whether Davis comes in with a different mindset, will he bring back the fire he showed against Martin and Ryan Garcia, or will Roach's confidence and style once again neutralize the champion's power? Shakur Stevenson thinks Roach is now mentally unshakable. Crawford thinks Roach has already peaked.
It's on and ready to go for the rematch, correct?
Y'all can't play so many head games. It's not even fun. Let me tell you something, bro. Lamont Roach has never been this big of a fighter before. Everyone knows Lamont Roach now. So he could be reaping the benefits of just enjoying his status of having that draw with Tank, while Tank is the one with the eye of the tiger. Tank is probably in the gym training his ass off and then sign the contract like, all right, we got to fight win. June, oh shit, let's hurry up and dash your ass. Sugar Ray Leonard did that to Roberto Duran. Duran was told that he had a fight in a couple weeks, and he was like, dude, I'm 190 pounds in Panama, which is why Roberto Duran was out of shape in the No Mas fight and was like, no mas. So Tank could be over there working, sign the contract in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden Lamont Roach got to put a training camp together.
It's rare in boxing for a draw to generate this much buzz. Usually split decisions and controversial outcomes lead to forgettable rematches. But Davis versus Roach has defied that trend. It wasn't just the result that created intrigue, it was how it unfolded. Even personalities like Joe Rogan, who don't typically comment on boxing outside of major events, weighed in with praise and hope for a second showdown.
You said, hopefully you can get the rematch with Lamont next, but everybody looks at you as the face of boxing and as somebody who calls the shots. Do you want that rematch next? And if so, how likely it is that we're to see that fight happen again this year?
I'm not sure, bro. I'm definitely not sure, but hopefully we could get it before. Nah, it probably won't be this year.
Is that the one you want next?
It's definitely the one I want next, but it's not gonna be next.
What is?
You might see it in a minute.
At this stage in his career, Davis knows he's fighting for more than just belts. Every performance shapes his legacy. After hinting at retirement in the build-up to the Roach fight, only to be pushed to his limits by an underdog, there's pressure on him to prove that his prime isn't behind him. A dominant win in a rematch could silence doubters, re-establish his aura, and open doors for even bigger paydays, whether they come from legitimate contenders or crossover bouts with internet stars.
We did how many rounds? We probably did we straight.
Yeah, but you in the back for about 8-2.
Yeah.
It was good. You're not in bad shape.
Yeah. Just got put up on
On the other hand, Roach doesn't need to change public opinion. He already has. All he needs is the rematch to be made official and the chance to finish what he started. With a 7-fight unbeaten streak and newfound recognition, he's no longer the unknown challenger. He's the man who stood toe-to-toe with one of the sport's most dangerous fighters and walked away with a draw, and he believes that wasn't even his best.
Tank won the rematch. Do you let me know now? Do you want to fight Tank again? He said he open to do a rematch. Do you want to fight Tank
100%.
again?
It's only a matter of time. We're gonna fight. We're gonna fight again. It's just whenever the fight gonna happen.
So it's gonna happen.
It's gonna happen.
Okay. They say they want it in New York again. Do you want to fight again in the Barclays Center?
I wouldn't mind, but I'd love for it to be in DC.
Okay,
I love for it to be in DC.
Both fighters are at a crossroads. Davis, the decorated champion with knockout power and crossover appeal, is desperate to reclaim the spotlight and erase any doubt about who the top dog at lightweight really is. Roach, the underdog turned crowd favorite, is aiming to pull off what would be one of the most satisfying revenge stories in recent boxing memory. So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.